Hi guys, I'm Gasha. Welcome to our coffee times to talk about horror. And today I'm here to talk to you about my March reading plans. We're here to take a look at my March TBR pile.
It's coffee time!
As you all know, I will be gone the last 2 weeks of February because I'm going to be in Spain, and I had to plan these TBR with a lot of advance, so I don't know if things are going to change a lot when March comes around, but I try to focus again on books that I have always wanted to give a try to, books that are new releases. And March I'm gonna be back in the Netherlands, which means I will have access to my physical TBR pile. Because the month of February I basically built up my TBR pile based on ebooks because I knew I was gonna be gone for 2 weeks. I wanted to make the TBR pile of the month of March mostly physical books because I also need to get through some of my physical books. I have decided to also only include 8 books in this list, which I know is quite a lot, and I can always add later if I have time for more, but I will also like to do themed vlogs every month if I can, so I'm also working on those every single month. So let's take a look at the 8 books that I plan to read during the month of March. The first one is Hungerstone by Kat Dunn, and this one I want to read because it is horror with vampires. I believe it's also sapphic, and it is a Camilla retelling. And having An Education in Malice being compared to this one, and you guys know that An Education in Malice was one of my favorite books, so I feel like I need to read this book. I have it pre-ordered. I'm ready to dig into this one. It does come out in February, but because I'm gonna be gone, I don't think it's gonna get to me on time to read it in February, so I decided to set it for my March TBR. Lenore is married to a very wealthy, important man called Henry. They have been married for 10 years. However, they have not been able to conceive a child, and their marriage is kind of in shambles. Now, Henry has taken Lenore to one of his houses because he's very rich. It is the Nethershaw Manor, and he wants to throw a party, a hunting party with society's finest. As they're getting ready for the preparations for this hunting party in the countryside, there is an accident with a carriage, and that brings Camilla into Lenore's life. Lenore is going to be torn between Henry and Camilla, and I'm pretty sure she has to choose Camilla. I'm already team Camilla. And I'm really excited for this book, truly really excited, so I hope that it lives up to my expectations. Next we have Mondays Are Murder by Ravina Guron. This is another one of the books that I have pre-ordered, that's why I don't have a physical copy in my hands yet, and this is a YA mystery thriller. You guys know I love Ravina's books. I have read her 2 published works and really enjoy them, so I am extremely excited for this one. 17-year-old Kay left her hometown after the death of her best friend Ivy. However, her parents are going on holidays and they don't have anybody to take care of her, so they decide to leave her with her cousin, and that means that she has to return to her hometown. When she gets to her hometown, somebody has left a letter on top of her bed. The letter is basically telling her that she's going to be killed on Monday, and she has a week to try to figure out who is the person responsible for this letter, why does anybody want to kill her, and will she be able to stop it before it happens. As if Mondays were not already like the worst day of the week, now you are also threatened to be killed that day. Like, who wants to die on a Monday? We stay with the mystery thriller, and I'm going to be reading an adult mystery thriller that I have been meaning to get to as well, which is called How to Solve Your Own Murder by Kirsten Perrin. It says it's for fans of Knives Out, so I'm really excited about this one, and apparently it's a woman that is determined that somebody is plotting to kill her and she's trying to solve her murder before it happens. And then she does end up being killed. We're in 1965 and we follow Frances. She is a teenager and she and her friends go to a fortune teller, and the fortune teller tells her that she's going to be murdered. So Frances spends her life trying to figure out who is going to kill her. No one takes Frances seriously because a lot of years pass by and she is still alive. However, one day she is indeed murdered. So now Annie, her great niece, decides that she wants to figure out who is the killer, who killed her great aunt. Next we have The Staircase in the Woods by Chuck Wendig, and this is a horror adult book, and this is one that I have on my Kindle because this one I got an ARC for, and I'm really excited. This is going to be my first Chuck Wendig book, even though I own one of his other books in hardcover. But I never read it. So I feel like because I have an ARC of these, I would like to try this one before it's published to let you guys know what I think of it. I don't know if it's the best one to begin with, but this is going to be it. 5 high school friends are protected by an oath that they did that they would always protect each other. Then, on a camping trip, they found a staircase in the middle of the woods that leads to nowhere, apparently. One friend walks up the stairs and never comes back. Then the staircase disappears, and they're all like, what the hell? What happened? Where did he go? 20 years later, the staircase has reappeared, and the group of friends go back to try to figure out what's going on with the staircase, if they can maybe find their lost friend. So this sounds very interesting to me. I love stories about childhood friends that experience something and years later they are confronted with it again. I think it's very interesting because mostly in these books you get to read from their POV when they are young and when they are older, and I always find that very interesting because it's not so easy to talk from a perspective of a kid and then take that same kid and give it an adult voice, and I'm really excited to see how Chuck Wendig does that. Next I have Victorian Psycho by Virginia Fato, and this is an adult horror gothic tale, and I have this one as an audiobook, so I'm really excited for this. It's also, I believe, a little bit above 200 pages, so it's going to be a short read, but it sounds very interesting. Winifred arrives at a beautiful state and she is ready to become the best governess and to take care of the family's children. She wants to read them, children's stories, she wants to hang out with them and become, a best friend. Apparently the husband kind of starts to gaze into Winifred's chest. The wife gets jealous. I mean, she should just be mad at her husband. But also, apparently Winifred is keeping a lot of secrets, a lot of dark things in her past. So I'm really excited about this story because it's kind of a little bit different from your typical, turn of the screw story, where the governess here might potentially be the evil side and not the kids or the house. So I'm really interested. So after I had those books set for my TBR pile, which mostly are new releases that I really wanted to read, I decided to go through my room, through my physical books, to try to find a couple of books that I could read because I really do need to get through a lot of my physical books, especially after coming back from London in November, because there's a lot of books that I might read and then I might unhaul because a lot of books might be just a one-time read for me. So I wanted to pick at least one more YA mystery thriller, and I decided to pick this one, 10 Hours to Go by Keely Parekh. And I thought this one might be fun because, it's March, the winter is kind of leaving us. This has kind of like a road trip, even though they are not in a beautiful summer road kind of road trip, but I don't know, it sounded good. I did read Don't Let the Cold In by the same author, and I thought it was just okay, but it didn't like blow me away, but I did enjoy it, so I wanted to give the author another chance as well to see if this one maybe is something that I enjoy a little bit more. Apparently we follow 3 girls that have no other choice but to share a car ride because the trains have been cancelled and they are not in speaking terms. I think 2 of them used to be besties and now they don't talk to each other anymore, and the other one is someone that probably had something to do when it comes to break that relationship apart. So I hope it's not going to be too much drama, and I hope that it's going to be also thrilling and it's gonna have a lot of tension. And I think the tension is gonna come from the 3 girls that obviously are forced to share a car when they are not in speaking terms, but also because of what's going on the outside. Apparently there's a lot of wildfires on their way, so Lily, the one that is driving, decides to take a detour. We love detours in horror stories. Now this is just a mystery thriller, but we all know when you take the wrong turn, things are just gonna get really bad. And when nightfall comes, they realize that they are lost in the middle of nowhere and they are basically now stranded in the woods. Great, fantastic. So yeah, they should not have left the main road, but now it's too late. So they have to survive the night in the middle of the woods. Next I have a crime thriller that I picked up at a second-hand store and I've been really excited to give it a try, and that is this book here, The Murder Farm by Andrea Maria Schenkel, and it's supposed to be really good. And it's not very long, so that's another reason why I wanted to pick this one. And I don't know, this is kind of like almost a true crime, but not really, so I feel like I'm in the mood for that. A whole family has been murdered with a pickaxe. We have the old farmer, which was the patriarch. We have the very religious wife, their daughter that was separated from the husband, and her daughter, plus the maid. So all of them have been brutally murdered, and the police have no leads. Fantastic. And then a former resident returns home. That's all I know, and I think based on what I have seen on Goodreads, people say this is a very unique tale and it's told in a very interesting way, so I'm really excited to dig into this one. And last but not least, you guys, I finally thought that it was time. It was time. I'm going to be reading my very first Dean Koontz book. I'm gonna be reading The Eyes of Darkness. I have so many Dean Koontz books on my Kindle. I think it was a time where Amazon had like sale on his books or something, and I got a lot of the ebooks. And I also own multiple paperbacks, and I keep buying them, but I need to start reading them, because what if I don't enjoy his writing style at all? Like, I'm just collecting his books. So I decided it was time, and I decided to pick this one first. This book was actually published first with a pseudonym. It was published under the name Lee Nichols, and then it was changed. Now the newer publications like this one have Dean Koontz's name on it. This is a horror thriller, and we follow Tina, who is having a really bad year. She has lost her son, and she is about to have one of her first shows in Vegas, so she's really excited about it in a way, and she decides to put the grief aside from losing her son and focus on work. So Tina is really focused. It's the first show she's going to be directing in Vegas, so it should be a big thing for her, and she's just focusing on work, minding her own business, when one day in her son's room, on a chalkboard that he has, there is a message left for her that says, "Not dead." So now the question is, who left that message? Is it, you know, the son's spirit? Did something happen to him? It doesn't say on the synopsis how he died. So was he murdered? Was there an accident? Did they try to cover it as an accident, but actually somebody killed the kid and now he's coming back from the dead to, you know, help the mother resolve the crime? I don't know. But I'm interested, and this is going to be my first Dean Koontz book. I don't know if it's the best one to start with, but you know, this is what we're going for. So hopefully I'm gonna enjoy it. So those were the 8 books that I have on my set fixed TBR pile for the month of March, and I am really excited for all of them. I have been trying this year to put books on my TBR piles that I'm genuinely excited to read, and even if I pick new releases, I'm trying to pick releases that are like, for me, at the top of the list, because there are so many books coming out every month. So I'm hoping that this is going to be a good reading month, and I hope that you enjoyed to see the books that I plan to read during the month of March. Let me know down below what are your reading plans for March. Thank you guys as always so much for your support, and I hope to see you all as always in our next coffee time. Bye!